Well, here's this for age. I saw this meme the other day where it's like kids these days when they want to hear a song they like, they go, Alexa, play blah blah blah, and then where at our age was like, oh, we had to call the radio station and request a song, then sit by the radio for about an hour and a half to wait for the hear the song that we requested, just so that we could push record and tape it on our blank tape
Bro.
deck, so that way we'd have that song to listen to whenever we wanted to. So that whole process took about 3 hours, you know?
Yep. And the worst part about that process is when you'd call and get the busy.
Yeah.
And you have to call and call and call. And then you finally get
Over
through
and over.
and you put your song request and they'd be like, all right, yeah, we'll play that soon. And then they never freaking play it.
Yeah.
That's the worst. Because then you're sitting there for like 4 or 5 hours. And then you finally are like, I don't think they're going to play our song, dude.
Or it's just like been an hour and 20 minutes and you really got to go to the bathroom and you fear that like you're going to walk out and then they're going to play your song and then you're screwed. And it's just like, come on, man.
That's also, that goes in with like, you know, now the big thing is iTunes Music and Spotify, where every song's right there to fingertip, where back in those days, it's either that or the other alternative was good old Napster. Or BearShare, LimeWire. But the catch is like when Napster first came out, like I got on a Napster before people knew what Napster was, and you'd set like 3 songs to download and hope that they finished the next morning.
Yeah.
You know, like absolutely. I used to find a few songs, set them before I went to bed, and hope that I would be able to play them on my way to school the next morning.
You'd actually click like 3 or 4 of the same song, and then like whichever one would start downloading faster, then you'd have to like kill the other 2. So then maybe okay, we got one. Let's go.
And then sometimes you download it, and it wouldn't be like the official one. It'd be someone recorded off the radio. So in the middle of the song, you get like Wild 94.9, you know, or something like that. And
but it was like some Midwest radio station, so it's like even worse, you know?
Yeah, but like in the middle of the song, you know, you'd be like, oh, this is it. And then all of a sudden, you know, coming at you live. You're like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, that's not something you want to
then
like.
You got to delete that and download another version. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the good old days, man.
I know,
had to walk to school uphill both ways.
I know.
In the snow.
That was back when MTV still played videos and stuff. You know, they didn't have stupid reality shows like they do now.
Yeah.
You know,
I remember back, dude, like MTV was the shit. You'd wake up in the morning, what was it, Saturday morning, the top 20 countdown?
It was Saturday and Sunday, but Sunday was the best. And like I fell in love with Daisy Fuentes at like 7 years old, you know, with like the top 20 countdown.
Yeah.
And like I think the first song that I listened to on the top 20 countdown was Smashing Pumpkins 1979.
Yes.
And it was on that top 20 countdown for like the longest time.
Dude, that song was on there forever.
Like, oh my god. Like
my favorite thing about the top 20 countdown was not at the time, but looking back at it now, was when there was that one song that you just loved, you know, and you listened to it nonstop. And as the weeks went by, you were still loving the song, but it kept dropping down the list. And then you just got to that point where you're like, oh my God, am I not gonna be able to listen to this song next week?
Yeah.
You know, and then finally that day would come.
Like, or this song's number 19, like is it still cool that I like it?
Yeah.
You know, because it's not in the top 10, you know? Like, am I supposed to be playing the songs that are in the top 10?
Yeah.
But like you gotta remember too, it's like that's how you learned about the music and the artist and all this kind of stuff, because it's like we didn't have YouTube to go to like check it out whenever we wanted to, or a lot of these artists didn't have they don't have social media, they didn't have websites, you know, like a lot of this stuff didn't really exist. So it's like in order to really get this, like that's when like MTV News, like they had MTV News, like that was like one of the coolest things, because it's like they're actually reporting just like a live news channel would, but only on your musical artists and what like the current like pop culture news is for these artists, you know? And so, I mean, it's just like, it's like a dying breed. It's like none of that happens anymore.
Yeah. You know? Music's so different now.
It's going
often
through like a different medium, you know?
Yeah. I often catch myself saying this, but I truly believe that we were born at the perfect time where we got to experience all that, but we also got to grow up with like I think over the last 20 years has been like, I mean, I guess it's always going to be like that, but I feel like the last 20 years has been like the biggest technological advances in our lifetimes or in you know, history.
Exponentially too.
Yeah. And I love the fact that like we were grown up where as kids, like, you know, I didn't get an actual cell phone until I think I was a junior in high school. and it was like
me
a
too.
and it was like a flip phone. And then I think like 6 months later, I went to the little Nokia. Remember the
Yeah.
little Nokias? But
Yeah.
like, it's still like, even with having a cell phone, like you know this. I still, because it's the same for me to this day. I'm terrible with phones. Terrible
Yeah.
with phones. Like, if I'm out doing something, I'm not on my phone. You
Right.
know, like it's in my pocket on silent or something.
Right,
Dude,
yeah,
it drives my wife nuts, dude. She'll call me like 10 times from upstairs, and I'm like, my phone's right next to me, but it's on silent because I'm just,
Yeah, and you're wearing
it's like
headphones, you're like doing
yeah,
stuff,
but it's like, so with me with phones, even like nowadays, like I'm on my phone constantly with like news and stuff, but like the actual like communication between people, like text messages and stuff, I'm just always been bad at that. But like, so my point is, like, I just love that, like, I grew up playing outside and doing all that, you know, like what your parents used to say, or our parents used to say, like, go outside, blah, blah, blah. You know,
Yeah.
I grew up doing that,
Right.
but I also grew up to where like I know the tech, I know it all, like, you know, better than most. So
For sure.
I just
Well, it
love the
bothers
fact
me
that like
these days.
if the world went offline today, I'd be like, all right, well, got to revert back to the good old days where, you know, people 5 years younger than us are going to be like, oh my god,
Yeah, I know.
what are we going to do?
I
Like,
know.
you know, people don't even know what a map book is. Like, that's what's crazy. Like if the internet crashed right now and like a news alert went out and we're like, you know, you have to get to
Right.
Las Vegas right now.
Yeah, just pull that thing out.
Like,
Yeah.
not like majority of the country is going to be like, well, I don't have service. How do I find Las Vegas?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's just
Yeah.
crazy. I
Do you know
remember
how
like,
many people like have driven to the same location multiple times and still don't know how to get there because they rely so much on their GPS?
yeah,
And
I'm
I'm
not
sure
gonna
you're one
lie,
of them.
that's kind of me right now up here. But
Well, you're still learning an area. It's
yeah,
different,
yeah,
but like, you know, but the thing that bothers me about like how far we've advanced technology, it's like we've gotten some really cool technology that for whatever reason society is already deemed obsolete and they don't produce anymore. Like, and what I'm talking about specifically is like I've got an 8-year-old, and for his birthday I wanted to get him like when I was a kid, like I had my own Walkman or Discman or this or that, and then it became an iPod. You know, it's like,
yeah.
so I wanted to get him like an iPod, you know, so he could play music, but they don't freaking sell iPods anymore.
I know, dude.
It's like if you want an iPod, you got to get the iPod Touch. Like there's
Yep.
no just basic iPod,
Nope.
and it's like I didn't want to get the iPod Touch because I don't want to, like, he's not going to listen to music if I give him an iPod Touch.
Yeah.
Like he's going to do whatever else he can do. It's basically
Dude.
giving him an iPhone that you can't call or text on or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we ended up finding like this like little, I don't even know the brand, but it's like a little MP3 player for like 40-50 bucks on Amazon, and I loaded like 150 songs on it for him. And I mean, he loves it, but it's just like the iPod was so great for this reason. And it's like, why can't we like preserve the youth for just a little bit longer before we give them a tiny computer in their hands? You know what I mean? Like,
to this day, as I honest to God, and people make fun of me for this, I still use it to this day. One of my favorite devices is the iPod Shuffle. It's just this little tiny thing. I can put like, I think 250 songs on it. Yeah. You know, it's nice. I clip it to my sleeve, go on a little jog.
We have one of those too, man. And it's toast. Like we plugged it in before we bought this one to see if like it would work, and it didn't even come on.
Yeah, I think mine's right here in this drawer.
Perfect. I would have like just wiped it out and put new stuff on it and pretend like I bought it for him. Like, you know,
dude, the Shuffle was legit, man.
Oh,
but I mean, I guess now, and what's funny is like I still have it and I still use it. I used it last week, but it's like I have an Apple Watch, so that's kind of makes the Shuffle obsolete.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, we don't need that stuff, but like my point was come on, man. Like you don't want to give your 8-year-old an iPhone.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
Nate's been asking me lately, like, hey, Dad, when do I get a cell phone? Like, don't you talk to me about cell phones right now?
Seriously, dude.
I'm like, Jen says it perfectly,
dude.
One
when I think you need one. When I need to get a hold of you, that's when you'll get one.
Jen answers that question perfectly every time. What do you need? What do you need a phone for?
Yeah.
When are you in a situation where you need to call us?
Yeah.
When you can answer that question, we'll talk about a cell phone.
Yeah.
Okay. Good point. Valid point.
Yeah. Oh. No, I mean, yeah, it will come with some independence. Because I mean, to be honest with you, dude, we're at the skate park and like, there's some kids who are, you know, I get it. Like, there's some high school kids, they got phones, like, not a big deal. But like, there's some kids who are like 9, 10 years old,
Yeah.
and their parents ain't there, and they have phones. Now I
That's
get
crazy
that
to
if
me,
you're
dude.
the type of parent who's okay with that, then if my kid was somewhere by himself, I would want him to have a phone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I guess that's the point where you give your kid a phone is when
But at
you
the
are now
same time,
comfortable to separate yourself from your kids and
yeah.
they're somewhere in public without you.
But
You
at
know?
that time, do they need an iPhone?
No.
No. And that's what these kids have. So it's crazy.
But a lot of times, dude, it's like they have an iPhone because they got the parents' old iPhone.
Yeah,
It's
see, that's
free.
where like every
You
time
know
we
what I mean?
upgrade, I trade the old phones in, so I don't even have any old ones anymore.
I usually do too. Or
I think I have like a 3S somewhere in a drawer, but
my phones are usually so like broken by that point. That's the reason why I upgraded. Like
yeah.
I can't. They're unusable anyway. But
Yeah.
there are those factors out there.
Yeah.
You know.